Yeah, he actually just had to remind me that next week is signing day, so appreciate that. Good afternoon to everybody. Good to see everybody. And just a couple words about last weekend. Obviously, we were really pleased to get the win. It was a good effort by the entire team, and happy to get a road win anytime in conference. That's a good thing. Just in a nutshell, I think our older guys really did a good job of playing well and giving us leadership. And then next man in, that's something we've talked about for 20 plus years. And I think, you had some good examples, whether it be a senior like Nick DeYoung jumping in and really playing probably his best game, I think, since he's been here. A guy like TJ Hall, who has played and, was called upon, did a really nice job. And, or a new guy like Jackson, who just, it was his first start in college football, as far as I know. So, a lot of, really kind of covered the spectrum there. But, again, good efforts. We did a good job on ball security and takeaways. We've been doing a good job on that. And, happy to see that. Did a good job playing clean, penalties, that type of thing, and special teams. Certainly gave us an edge, be it Drew or the punting. We didn't punt a lot, but I think Reese did a really nice job there too. So happy about that. And just, want to congratulate a couple guys. Caleb Johnson being a semifinalist for the Doak Walker Award, one of three people, so that's tremendous. And then Caden came out today. Caden Weejan's a finalist for the Jet Award too. So I was interested to see it. It's been 14 years. We've had some good returners over the last, couple of years, and would have thought Cooper or some of those guys might have been on there. So it's a real compliment to Caden and the job he's done. Then, needless to say, Drew Stevens, Big Ten Special Teams Player of the Week, had a great performance and is really kicking well and, playing like an experienced guy now. So happy for him as well. Moving forward for this week's game against Nebraska, our captains are same four as last week. We've got Quinn Schulte and Jay Higgins defensively, and then Luke Lachey and Logan Jones on the offensive side. So those will be the four guys. Definitely out will be, Reese Van Der Zee is still a ways away. Hopefully we'll get him back for the bowl game. Starting to turn the corner a little bit there. Jamari Harris won't be able to go. And, Dunk I don't think will make it. I'm pretty sure that he won't be able to go either. He's improving, but I don't think he's going to make it. So everybody else is moving forward, and I think we have a chance to have everybody else ready for game time. So we'll see how that goes. Nebraska's coming in here, coming off a really good win, good home win against Wisconsin, playing really well, made them bowl eligible. I think everybody knows that, and it's really a credit to Coach Rule, his staff, and his players just for the job they've done in 2 short years. Last year, 5-17, but a lot of really close, tough defeats. And then, turning the corner this year and becoming bowl eligible. So they've done a really good job putting the team together, be it, the guys that were there, guys they've recruited, and then certainly some guys in the transfer portal also. So they've done a good job of putting all three of those things together, really aggressive on defense. And to me, it starts up front. They've got 2 defensive tackles that feel like they've been there forever. I think they have been there 4 years or 5, I don't know. But both have started a lot of games. And, they're showing it. They're really strong, aggressive, really tough guys. And, it kind of starts there. So it's really tough to block those guys inside. I've got a lot of guys that are really doing a good job. They play a lot of people. And probably the other guy I've noted, their safeties are all good. And they play with 3 of them. But number 2 looks to be like the quarterback back there and the leader. So he's a really good football player on top of it. Offensively, a little different, a little bit more youth there, in contrast to the 2 defensive tackles that have been there a long time. Their quarterback is an outstanding player. I can't imagine there's a better freshman quarterback in the country. And number 17, receiver and return guy's a true freshman as well. And really good, outstanding football players, very dynamic. So they've got a good offensive football team, good at the skill positions, big, and we've got some experience up front. And then, special teams, talented, good size, good speed, and their punters are really good performer as well. So it's going to be a big challenge for us, and I know they're coming in here with confidence, so we'll have to be at our best Friday to be ready to go here. A couple quick asides here, and we'll move on. But 23, seniors will be recognized, so it's always an interesting thing. We had our bye week a couple weeks ago, and I told the whole team, things are going to go fast here the last 2 games. I'm sure the seniors would tell you the same thing about their entire careers. When you get to the back end as an older player, it seems like it goes really fast. So kind of like a season, but can't say enough about these guys. They've all done a great job. Some of the guys have been here the entire time. We've got a couple guys that transferred, and I think also of note and kind of interesting, we've got 10 of the 23 are walk-ons originally here. Some have gone on and earned scholarships, other guys haven't, but they've stayed with the program and really done a great job. And cherry pick an easy one, Jeremy Chaplin, young guy from Waverly Shell Rock. Good prospect when he came here. He's really developed into a really good football player, an outstanding teammate, and also has earned distinction as a Big Ten distinguished scholar on top of it. So, great guy to be on the team, and just, that's kind of a little bit representative of the whole group as it pertains. And, it's always a bittersweet time. It's kind of like being a parent. There's a time where, guys move on and they go on to the next phase of their lives. So, you're happy for them. You want to see them have great success. And same time, you hate to see guys leave, too. So it's a little bit bittersweet. Always has been, always will be. And the bottom line is I'm really happy for the guys. I know every one of the guys are ready to go on to the next chapters. Some will play football for a while, but it won't be forever. And still, the most important thing they do in college is, number one, get their education. And all these guys have done a great job of that, or will do that in this semester or the next semester. And the other part is just having great experience, while they're here, be it football, their social lives, and learn how to navigate, make decisions, those types of things. So, again, I'm really confident this whole group will do well, and, wish them all the best here. Kid captain, we have a 12-year-old, Lucas Hazen's a young guy from Muscatine. And, again, another tough story. Lucas was ill before birth, actually, and was born 6 weeks prematurely, severe brain bleeding. Struggle with that one there. But anyway, just, had a lot of challenges. And, the people at the Children's Hospital, Stead Family Children's Hospital, the whole care staff has done a great job with him. He is in a wheelchair now, but Mom says he got a great spirit, and she puts no boundaries on him. Big Hawkeye fan, so certainly be great to have he and his family with us, and honored to have them with us this weekend. So happy about that. And then last thing, just real quickly, the Heroes game. I think one of the great concepts for a trophy and just a rivalry where, you truly recognize people that are really special in each state. And for us, it's a real honor to be able to honor the memory of Dan Marburger. And I'm sure most of you know Dan's story as principal at Perry High School. Last January, stepped in front of a school shooter and saved countless lives, no question about that. Tremendous individual. Every account that you hear about Dan was just an extraordinary person. Great family man, great for education. So to me, you talk about, true heroes, and we talk about that term with sports and things like that. This really puts it in perspective, and he is certainly, every sense of the word, a true hero. So it's really an honor for us to salute him and his family Friday night. And again, I commend everybody who came up with the concept about the Hero Trophy. I think it's just a really neat thing and really worthwhile. So just conclude here real quickly. Just, it's not an official blackout, but we will be in black Friday night game. Why not? So if the fans want to jump in there with us, we'd really appreciate that. I think it'd be great, and should be a great environment. Might be a little toasty, or chilly, I should say. So bring your hot chocolate. But anyway, just final game of the season. It's always special, and again, just a chance to recognize 23 outstanding individuals that have run the whole race. And run it well. And it's not just a race, it's a marathon. If you consider the work these guys put in, playing through injury, disappointment, pretty much every one of the 23 have experienced that. And to persevere and finish out strong and earn their degrees, all those things that are really meaningful. It's a really special group. And I can tell you as a parent, the first time your kid comes out in a swarm, it's a big deal. And then obviously the last game. And I've never met a college player that doesn't remember their last game or their last game in high school. So certainly it's a big deal, and I've got a lot of respect and certainly a lot of gratitude for all 23 of our guys. And I'll throw it out for questions.
Hi, Kirk. John Steppe, Gazette. Wanted to ask about injuries. With Jennings' injury, kind of what's the nature of that? Obviously, you get a month after this before the bowl game. I assume that would be a realistic.
He'll be fine, yeah. He's really improving well now. I don't think he's going to make it by Friday, so... it's too bad. He's worked so hard and really, learning how to play football and playing the game, and he's done a great job. So, yeah, he'll be back for the bowl. I imagine if we were playing, next week, he'd probably be ready for that one.
And then from a quarterback standpoint, kind of how is Brendan recovering and kind of?
Yeah, it seems to be feast or famine. Yeah, we had all three guys out there the last 2 days, and they both look good. The guys that haven't been in there, so Cade and Brendan are both practicing, and that's good. And yeah, it's just an interesting dynamic. Went from Max being number 2 he's been pushed down to number 4. He's not real happy right now. He's done a great job. Real credit to him. He's been a great team player for us.
Chad likes to go Des Moines Register. With Brendan, or I guess do you know who your backup quarterback is at this point, and how much can Brendan do right now?
So far so good. Obviously, there was some skepticism yesterday for me going to practice, but yeah, he's handled everything really well, and so he looks good. We'll see how it goes this week, and it's a tight week, so we're going to have a lot of practice time on the field, but. He looks fine, and Cade looks fine. So keep our fingers crossed that both of them will be ready to go. Then we'll figure out, what the batting order is going from there.
Hey, Kirk, LA Clough, Hawkeye Beacon. In that same vein, is Jackson your starter right now? I know you said that after the game. Okay.
Yep,
okay.
Absolutely.
And just with that, speaking of Jackson, I know you said you didn't meet him until August, correct?
Tim met him in June,
right?
I think it was June or maybe May, but anyway, you get the point.
Sure.
So yeah, I met him when he showed up.
Mason had said,
"Nice to meet you." Right about here too. It was right about this spot.
Mason Richmond had said that throughout camp, throughout some of these practices, he's been able to make some really nice throws. I guess what have you seen from him leading up to this point? Now that he's played in a couple games.
Yeah, when Tim saw him out in California, May, June, whenever that was. He was really impressed with his feet and the way through the football. But it's always interesting with the quarterback thing because, I always laugh about the NFL. When guys have their workouts and there's no pass rush and there's nobody playing defense on the receiver. So like if a guy can't throw on air, it's probably a bad sign. So you never quite know. But he's really done a good job, and I think probably the most amazing part from my vantage point is. He's been a scout team player up until a couple of weeks ago, and so that's a lot to get thrown at you. Not that he's doing everything, but he's really handled it well. And as I mentioned Saturday, the fact that he had a week to think about it, week plus to think about it, that's one more hurdle to climb because sometimes you start thinking about how did I get here? What am I doing here? That can work against you a little bit too. But he just seems to be really steady. Unflappable is probably a strong word at this point because we don't know him that well, but. Just handles things really in stride, and it's been impressive so far. So he didn't play perfect the other day, but he did a lot of really good things, and I was really impressed with his poise and ability not to get in trouble, which is easier said than done sometimes, especially at that position because you're involved in every snap. The ball's in your hand every snap. A lot of things can go wrong.
David Eichel, HawkeyeInsider.com. Kirk, Jay Higgins just seems like he's kind of the embodiment of an Iowa story, really under-recruited guy, waits his turn, probably could have had opportunities elsewhere with the transfer poll and everything, but then plays at an All-American level and probably still a little bit underappreciated nationally. I know not within the building.
Correct.
In conference play. But just what has Jay meant to this team and kind of maintaining that Mike linebacker standard that you guys have really built over the past 2 decades plus.
Yeah, the thing I'd really accentuate, and you mentioned all the points, but I'd really accentuate that part about him not being in the transfer mode. This guy, Jack Campbell, and you'd have to be an idiot to say, I'm better than him at that given point. But, there's a lot of cutting and running going on, just everywhere in life right now. And instead of pouting or I'm not saying choke back, but sometimes I call it second team cocoon, where it's safe. It's a safe zone. I really don't have to prepare to my fullest because I probably won't be in there anyway. So it's a dangerous place to be when you're a backup. Sometimes you don't do it intentionally, but it's just not the same as knowing you have to go out there and perform and everybody's counting on you. And he never did that. Jay, no matter what he did, he was just trying to get better. Played tremendously on special teams and took a leadership role that way, and it's just who he is. And so, I didn't know none of us knew he'd be as productive as he was when he got his chance to play, but boy, that kind of exceeded, I think, any expectations. But the rest of him, just the way he does things, his commitment to the team, his attitude, leadership, all those things, his mental toughness, I can't say enough about him. And at that position, it's a really important trait. It's important everywhere in football, but that position. So, it's really, and it goes back to recruiting. We just, I think all of us there's a consensus on the staff that, maybe people are missing on this one a little bit, and he really would fit what we do and how we do it. And, it's been great start to finish with him. And he's had such a great career. So just really, really happy for him.
Blake Horsey, Knockeye headquarters. David stole my question. But Kirk, is
Good.
Thanksgiving still your favorite holiday?
Absolutely. Yeah. You can't beat it.
Yeah.
And it's, 2 days late, but it's okay. We're not complaining.
Well,
It's actually good because we're not working, for a couple of days, which is rare this time of year. So it's really a good deal.
Well, as far as Jay goes, his dad Roy is wildly popular among the Iowa fan base, maybe even more so than Jay. I was curious, just your interactions with the Higgins family thus far.
Jay's family? Oh, yeah. I mean, his dad is like Super Hawk, right? I mean, he's the best. Going back to when Jay showed up here, remember going to a basketball game Deontay was playing, I believe, Craig, and so we were all there together, and the Craigs and Higgins family, and just super people, really super people, and he's all energy, all positive, and we may have to put him on staff here after Jay leaves.
Scott Dockerman with The Athletic. Kirk, I wanted to ask you about this graduating class, that most of them were freshmen in the 20 season. Some of them were in the 19 season too, but they came in at a really pivotal time in this program's history, and then in national with COVID, racial bias on campus. Yet they ran the race. They've been a part of some adversity. They've persevered. It seems like every class you have has some really strong story of character. Yeah. But what is it about this group that maybe makes it special or unique, even in the line of all of those other classes?
Yeah. Life is full of ups and downs, and competitive life, there's certainly going to be that. So, you're always interested to see who stays with things, who really, I don't like that term, grinds it out, but who just really shows grit and can really stick with it and finish a job. And then, you throw in the COVID ones for the guys that got here during that COVID year. I was really worried and just about their, it was crazy because they came and their parents dropped them off in the dorm, and we had to be careful how we helped them get into the dorm. And then basically that summer of 20, I mean, they were here training, and then otherwise they were pretty much restricted to barracks. It was like being in the military because they really couldn't go downtown and nothing was open anywhere, and just so you got all these guys from different places that. And maybe in some way, and that was kind of interesting to watch it, in some ways it almost made them a closer group. Because at least, I'm sure when the doors were shut, they were intermingling and all that kind of deal. But, what a weird time for a whole country. And then you factor in, hey, I'm a freshman in college. And a couple of those guys got COVID, which, that's not a great thing for the parents. You got to call them. And so, that was a really unique period. And these guys are, they've all weathered it and done a really good job. And they've been great to work with, really great to work with. Anybody sticks around for a senior year, I mean, that's pretty impressive. It really is.
Tyler Tashman with the Des Moines Register. Not to give away state secrets or anything, but is there a possibility we could see 2 to 3 quarterbacks on Friday, or is that still?
Yeah, with all due respect, I hope it's one, start to finish, and everything goes really well. But that's, hopefully not. But sometimes that's wishful thinking. But no, we're not planning on any rotation. We haven't really, it's only Tuesday right now, so we've got some talking to do as a staff. But I don't foresee that right now. I just think we're going to, try to go start to finish, and love the seniors and all that. But we're trying to win the game too, and that's first and foremost for everybody. And we'll end up doing what's best for the team, in our opinion. What's going to give us the best chance to win here.
Chad Leistico. Mason mentioned that the players gave Caleb Johnson, I don't know if you knew this, but like some kind of ultimatum in fall camp in terms of you got to get your act together type of deal. Yeah. And seems just really pleased at how he has answered that call basically from his teammates. I guess number one, how have you seen him reach the finish line here? Yep. You talked about Sean Green getting to do it all 12 games type of thing. He's almost done it. And then just where does he rank? Can you rank him now in terms of the running backs you've had? Like, how you feel about him?
Let's wait for the season to finish.
Okay,
but,
all right.
He's doing pretty well, I'll say that. and to that point, I think he missed one of the 100-yard deals, right, in one of the games. Did he have like 90 or 80, something? I don't know. But he did get the touchdown record, which is probably more important. So to his credit, you don't look into 21 touchdowns. That just doesn't happen. And the guys are blocking well, but it's a big part of him too. And I've been saying all year that he's hit a maturity level that maybe he didn't have his first 2 years, and I think that's what that Mason was probably alluding to. Since we started camp, I think it was in July this year, end of July. Since we started, he's been just focused and wired in, and the maturity, the experience that he's gained. It's not. There's no guarantee. Sometimes guys are experienced, but it's like, really, you've been doing this for 3 years. Have you not learned any more? But that's not the case. Like, he's putting his experience to good use. He's running smarter, running better, running stronger. Everything about it's better right now, and he's got a great attitude, and he's really fun to be on the field with and fun to be in here with or anywhere else. He's just he's a good young man. So yeah, it's been fun to watch his maturity and growth take place, and he's always had a good skill set, but part of it is catching up with the mentality part too, and that's a benefit of being older for sure.
Owen Seaborn with KGAN. I'm going off topic here a little bit, Kirk, but every week you come in here and you talk about the kid captain, and you give a lot of good details about their story, and you seem to know their story really well. Maybe something you don't have to do, I guess, maybe not in your job description, that you get to know them so well. Can you just tell us a little bit about how you get to know their stories, what your relationship is like with these families or these kids, and how you get to know them?
Yeah, like a lot of things I get, somebody's prepped me on stuff, gives me the information, but our opportunity to interact with them starts in August, and myself and all the seniors, and then speaking of seniors, but they're involved with them over in the locker room and before Kids Day scrimmage or practice. So it starts there, and you get to meet them then. I think it's a thrill for them to come out on the field and they swarm with the players. A lot of the coaches get involved in that, and then we'll get to visit with them in the tunnel out there outside the locker room before pregame. Typically, they're parked right outside our locker room, so you get a chance to go out and visit with the family and take some pictures and just wish them well. But, my association through the Children's Hospital mainly came through my wife's work there. Mary was very involved for, I don't know how many years, and then, going back probably 15, 17, whenever Steve left our house and, went to college. That's kind of when she started getting involved. And the thing I've learned about it, which just fascinates me, is my experience with medicine has always been, as a coach, going to visit back in the day, when guys had knee surgery, they were there for a couple days. Now it's a scope, you're in and out, so things have changed. But my point would be with orthopedic surgery, which you spend a lot of time with as a coach, it's, I don't want to call it sterile, but it is kind of sterile. Like, you don't really, you go in, you get fixed, and you come out. And with children's medicine, what I've learned is there's a sense of community. It's obviously the doctors are in charge and they kind of set the direction, but you got the nurses, the children's specialists, the therapists that do all the work. And the other part is anytime you go over and if you visit anybody in the hospital, Children's Hospital, there's always a family member there. I mean, it's like 98% there's going to be a family member there. So in some ways it resembles or parallels sports in some ways. There's a sense of community. There's a sense of extension beyond the patient leaving. And so I guess maybe that's just, and when I go to the dinners and stuff like that, I'm just the side. I just sit there and drink a beer or two and let Mary go up and give the speech and all that stuff. So I loved it. It's perfect. And but you listen and learn. You learn about people and the stories. We're trying to make a first down stop a first down. I mean, put it in perspective, right? And some of the work that these folks all do. And I think the real heroes over there are the nurses and the therapists. With all due respect to the doctors, I'm not minimizing their role either, but they're the ones that are there all the time and just, so good with the patients. And then the other aspect is just, kids have amazing just kids tend to be pretty optimistic, they really do. That's pretty cool to see.
John Steffi Gazette again. With Nick Jackson, this is like his third senior day now, it seems. Kind of what stood out to you?
If we can get him a fourth, I'm all for it, but probably not possible. Yeah.
What's kind of stood out to you the most about him and his leadership over these last 2 years?
First time I met Nick, I remember talking to him on the phone on a Friday night. I think it was in December. Whenever that process began, and he was playing some kind of football video game with one of his buddies, which I found that interesting. So I thought he's either lying or this is interesting on a Friday night, and he's down there doing that. In retrospect, I'm pretty sure he was doing it. And he just, from the first time you meet him in person, he's just a focused, serious guy. Knew what he's looking for, had a very clear vision of what he's looking for, and fortunately for us, we met the vision. And, it's just been unbelievably good to work with. He is one of those guys. He's like a 35 every now and then. You get guys, Logan Lee last year, that are a little bit mature beyond their chronological age, and Nick was certainly that. And he just I don't know, blended in is the right word, but just became one of our team guys, just like that. It was no effortless for him. And when you meet him, I mean, he's just that kind of person. So really good football player, stellar person, and been a really good leader in our program too. So it's, that to me is like the perfect transfer portal guy, if you will, So every now and then you get pretty lucky.
Finish up with two. Scott. Yeah, Scott Docterman again with The Athletic. On any team, kind of the backbone of it a lot of times are the walk-ons who maybe don't even get to play, but they're there in scout team. They're there and they're form bonds and friendships. Next year, a lot of those numbers are going to go away.
Yeah.
Have you had to have any conversations yet with any of the players that you just know that you're just not going to be able to make this? Because I think you're probably about 25 or 30 players over at this point, and then bringing in another 25 or so.
Of all the things that have been going on, there are a lot of unintended consequences, as we all know. We've already figured that out with the transfer portal, the NIL, which I think is at least hopefully going to start, being structured a little bit instead of this, crazy chaos that we're living with right now. So there's optimism there, but I think one of the more regrettable things is the 105 number. When we left the Big Ten meetings back in May, I don't want to say confident, but I was optimistic that the number would be 120. And I think as a group we had consensus, and it seemed like there was good support for that. But, things happen. And so anyway, here we are. The reality is 105 with still a lot of questions to be answered. The details are not – I don't think there's anything in black and white yet. And we're approaching the end of the season, like 3 days here. So to answer your question, we haven't had those discussions, and that's something we're going to have to do in December, just in – full, to be honest with our players and let them know that, you may not have a spot, just so they can, if they want to pursue other options, they'll have that opportunity. But yeah, I think it's really unfortunate, and to me it was a missed opportunity. It would have, it seems like it would have been more logical to stair-step it down, 115 then 105 or whatever. But, that wasn't part of the discussion, at least, didn't make it down to us. So we'll have to deal with it and try to be as humane about it. And then the other flip side is that, in my mind, every one of the seniors, the 10 of the 23 guys, they got a role on our team. Like, they wouldn't be here if they don't have a role. They're part of our team. They're valued. They're important. So, we're cutting back on opportunities. And then the other component, would Dallas Clark have made that cut? Just from a football standpoint, would Dallas Clark have made the cut after year one here? Because I think he was third or fourth team outside linebacker when I got here in spring of '99. So you wonder about how many of those stories are going to not ever take place that maybe could have or would have. And at a school like Iowa, that's important. Maybe not so much at some other schools, but for us, you guys know our stories better than anybody. Yeah, we got a lot of them. So that's another unfortunate byproduct. But, we'll figure it out and just try to, be smart about how we operate. And then obviously most importantly, try to be, really transparent with our players and, do it in a way where, they have an idea what's going on there. And that means we've got to really kind of, pinpoint our thinking here next week. But right now it's all on hold until we play Friday. Yep.
Tyler Tashman with the Des Moines Register. It seemed like Max Llewellyn had a pretty big impact on the D-line against Maryland. Just what have you seen from his kind of growth and trajectory at Iowa?
Yeah, I'm smiling. He came to camp, probably before his senior, I guess it would have been. I remember he's sitting down with him and his dad out there, and we're having a conversation and all that. But if you wanted to read my mind, I'm looking at him going, "Are we sure this guy can, be a defensive end?" He's pretty linear at that point. And then, again, this kind of ties in with the whole thing too, right? So we got signing next week. These guys are just finishing their senior year, but most of them were committed back in June. So, they're not even seniors in high school when we're recruiting them. And a big part of what we do, most of our guys don't walk in here looking like NFL guys. They may look that way when they walk out, but they don't look like that when they get here. So, it's just you got to project sometimes and think a little bit. But the one thing about him in camp, he had a high motor, really high motor, and he was tough. So that was kind of the basis for the evaluation. So, from sitting on that back in my office there, whatever, how many years it would have been, the growth that he's really exhibited, it's been really good. And the thing that's been consistent, he works hard. I mean, he goes hard. He really, and I remember talking to him during COVID, bringing up COVID. Him and his brother, like, set up a gym basically in their garage, and I'd call him, and Nick was playing video games on Friday night, and Max was lifting in his garage with his brother, who's an athlete too. So, just he's a football guy, got a good mentality, just goes hard, and yeah, he's really improved. And the good news is his best is in front of him, but he's a high motor player for sure. Okay, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Thank you.